Okay, let's get into our new segment. We've been doing this every week. Podium picks of the week. Last week we did our jerk gym move. So things that people do at your gym that you really just really chap your hide.
Come on, man.
Stuff that you just don't like. So this week we're going to talk about some good stuff. We're going to talk about our podium picks for our favorite cheat meals of the dessert variety, because there are many different categories of cheat meals, say like dinner or breakfast, or something you have for lunch. But we're going to do desserts only. And now we have third through first, but we're also going to give out, if you didn't make the podium, we're going to give out a Spirit of the Games.
Yep.
And we're also going to give out a dark horse. Now, this is not our own idea. This is an idea that came from one of our friends of the show, and we really liked it, so we're going to use it.
Yep. Last weekend we posted our podium picks, as we have the last couple of weeks, on our social media. And then let's see. Then at Call Me Collier from Peyton McCollum goes, this person doesn't make the podium, but is in the running for Spirit of the Games.
I love that.
There's clearly designated spots for 45-pound bars, 35-pound bars, 15-pound bars, and yet they still find it necessary to put the wrong bar in the wrong spot.
Yes.
And that we kind of took that idea of like having a Spirit of the Games, outside of the podium picks, and along with the dark horse, because that was always one of my favorant things to do, is find dark horses in the in the competitive field. So we have our podium picks, Spirit of the Games, and dark horses. So you want to start this week with third place?
Yeah, I'll start. I think you started last week, so I'll start this week. So these are our podium picks for favorite cheat meals of the dessert variety, and we're going to start. My third place is but any sort of ice cream cookie sandwich where you have ice cream wedged between two cookies. And I had one of these. It's the best one I've ever had. It was at the Atlantic Regional, the last regional I ever did in 2018. With my good friend David Eubanks, who's on the seminar staff, also is a judge. He's in charge of scoring. That guy, if you want to go dessert with somebody, that guy always goes hard to the paint. When we were in Brazil, Dave ordered not one but two desserts, ate and smashed them. So he's the guy you want to dessert with. And we went there and we had this thing, and it was delicious. But anytime you take two cookies and you smash them together and you have ice cream in the middle, I'm a happy guy. So that is my third place, my bronze medalist, if you will,
that
dessert cheat meal.
That's a solid one, because that's kind of like the hybrid. You got two in one. What more could you ask for? And it's local Bay Area product. Right
out on the one-on-one, you drive by it.
If anyone doesn't know, it is a ice cream cookie sandwich that's dipped in chocolate, and I believe it's with oatmeal cookies.
I think so. Yeah. All I know is that they sold them in my high school.
Yes, same.
And that was one of the reasons why I was as heavy as I was my senior year. So thank you. It's it.
I remember I was trying to put on weight for.
It worked.
Oh yeah. I wish it worked for me. I was one of those skinny kids that couldn't put on weight. I was trying to put on weight for to get scouted and stuff for sports, and like that was always the knock on me, as I wasn't heavy enough, and I was just hammering those down, trying to get it. Putting in, because they also had like mint and vanilla, and like you could choose the ice cream.
I think
between.
I would get the mint one, and I how much take a guess how much I weighed my senior year in high school.
Well, how much of it was that awesome set of neck curtains you were rocking?
A small percentage.
Yes. 235.
Wrong.
Uh-oh.
I weighed 248 pounds.
Oh
yeah. Almost an eighth of a ton.
So. You're in like a pro NFL linebacker.
That's kind of what. Yeah, I mean, I was a tweener guy. I was too big to be a linebacker, but too small to be a defensive end. So I just had to decide which way I was going to go, and I was like, oh, it's easier for me to just eat more and get fatter, so I'll just do that.
Shoot, you would have been better in these pro what 4-3-4 schemes where you have the hybrid outside linebackers where
right.
A little bit more spaced out.
But then you need the speed and the talent to go along with it, which I didn't have. Okay, so let's get to Tommy Marquez now. Let's go with your third place of your cheat meal of the dessert variety.
This is tough. I was having a hard time with this one in particular, and then you told me to close my eyes and just go with your heart.
Yeah.
And what came into my heart was a full pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes. And there's only 3 flavors that are acceptable for this in my household: Tonight Dough, Half Baked, or fish food. Those first two are the favorites of my fiance, Tiffany. She is a cookie dough monster.
Wow.
Like if there was a version of the Cookie Monster, but that was less cooked and a little bit more raw, like a dough version of the Cookie Monster, it'd be Tiffany. Full disclosure, we went to Foster's Freeze this weekend for a frozen treat, and we ordered what their version of the what's
Blizzard?
it called? The Blizzard, called a Twister.
Is it good?
It's fantastic. They do it in the same vein of DQ.
I may have to check this out.
We got
I'll be the judge of that, Tommy.
Exactly. we did the cookie dough one, and I was eating the other food that I had purchased, and Tiffany would dove into the cookie dough twister. She goes, "Look, there's so much cookie dough," and she couldn't do it because she had stuffed her mouth. And I kid you not, her entire mouth was full of cookie dough that she couldn't put her mouth.
That's a great dessert right there.
I get to the twister.
Don't short me on the cookie dough if it's going to be in the ice cream.
She ate 2 mouthfuls of cookie dough, and I went to go scoop, and I looked down. All the cookie dough chunks were gone.
Oh no! Can't take all the cookie dough if you're going to share it.
And I looked at her. I was like, "Really?" She's like, but she had this joyful, just exuberance in her eyes when she got to it. I couldn't blame her.
Yeah, you can't rob her of that.
So
okay, so full pint of Ben and Jerry's.
Yes,
all
because
right.
those pints are single serving.
Okay. Let's go to second place. Now, this is a hard one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Second place for me is my mom's chocolate cake. Now, this is like a second place of Carl Saunders Tia Toomey variety. Like it's that close.
Yeah.
My mom makes a chocolate cake. She used to make it all the time when I was a kid. I haven't had it in forever. And I mean, it's unbelievably good. I don't know. It's an old family recipe, but it's super, and no one likes the M word, so I'm not going to say it. But the frosting is nice and crisp, and it just blends perfectly. And I absolutely love it. People talk about eating a whole pint of ice cream. I could maul that whole cake. I don't care how big it is. I could probably eat the whole thing in one setting.
Saying there's a lot of moisture in there.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes.
So that's it's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Like if you were on a baking show on the cooking channel and you put that cake, you would win. I mean, that's how I feel.
I love
it. That good.
I followed your lead on this.
Okay.
You're the bruising fullback, and I had my hand on your back going through the gap that the lineman made for us. I went nostalgia and home cooking as well, and it's my mom's quote unquote birthday cake. So I put it in air quotes because it's slightly different. It's not your traditional birthday cake. And my mom used to make this for me for my birthday every year. It's basically like a chocolate chip cake. So like almost like a chocolate chip cookie cake, but it's the consistency of cake. And the cake is almost like this cinnamon. It's almost like a cinnamony, like it's got the flavor of like just a cookie kind of almost, with chocolate chips scattered throughout. It's really simple. But again, there's a lot of oil in it, and like it's one of those things where like it's just the simplicity is what makes it so good, and I love it. Like it's like I would look forward to it, and my mom wouldn't make it really for any other occasion other than our birthdays. It was just kind of like set aside as our birthday cake, and it was one of those things that I always look forward to it. And every once in a while, she'll make it for us, and I'm like, it's basically the same thing. Just empty the cooking sheet.
I just lose all self-control when my mom makes that cake. I can't stop.
And it was tough though. It was and this was tough because I wanted to put another one of my mom's desserts on there, but I will give her credit, and Tiffany will back me up on this. One of my mom's secret talents is she can just create desserts, like ones she's never tried before, and it's always just like smash hit. It's like one of the things that like like around holidays and stuff like that. Every time, if like Tiffany's parents will come over, we'll have joint stuff. They're stoked because my mom's making desserts. Nice. And my mom will just go and look and find a recipe and find something and create it. So she does a really good job of like that. But this was the consistent one that won out over time.
That's good. Like that's my wife is the same way. I think she made use of the Twix cupcakes. Those were good.
The only reason those didn't make it is because I've only had them once. So I can't say it's a regular cheat meal. But she made those for my birthday, and it knocked my socks off. Sheesh.
They were pretty good. Okay, so now it's gold medal time. So my gold medal favorite cheat meal, the dessert variety. It's a specific type. It's at an establishment that I worked at in high school. no longer exists, but it was,
Oh,
there's one that does exist, but it's under a different name in my hometown of Sacramento.
okay.
So the one I worked at was called Phipps Family Creamery. Now there's another ice cream store of a different name called Leatherby's in Sacramento. And they make a hot fudge sundae, and one scoop of ice cream is like a pyramid of 3 put together.
Oh,
So they take 3 scoops, mash them into one, and that's one scoop. So you get this gigantic, and it's a small, but it's like, I don't know, like a foot tall hot fudge sundae with really good hot fudge that they're very liberal with the application that spills over the glass into the plate on which they serve it. So you have a little reservoir to dip your ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't get it with the cherry and whipped cream because I don't like to make, sometimes I will, but if you just go basic vanilla hot fudge sundae at Leatherby's, I mean, you can't. And then sometimes they even give you like 2 little cookies to eat with it as well. So you're really getting your money's worth, and it is phenomenal. The ice cream it's that perfect consistency. It's not super soft serve, and it's not super tough to where you're going to chip a tooth, but it's gonna hold up in a storm.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been eating these since I think elementary school. I've had one forever. But when this whole thing is over and we're able to travel again, when I go back home, I'm going to go get me one of those.
Hightailing it up to Leatherby's.
So good. Yeah. Hot fudge sundae. That's my number one.
I respect the no whipped cream and cherry because I feel like that's like you're just putting on airs at that point. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need to dress this up. I know what I'm here for. We're here to get down to business.
That's right. The simple things.
Exactly. But even better, I just got this visual of just Sean as like this jacked version of Steve from Stranger Things season 3, working at the local Chips.
I was a bus boy, so I didn't get to serve the ice cream, but I had to go like clean it all up. And I used to come home. I worked in the summer, and it was super popular in the summer. I used to come home just like caked in chocolate sauce and just smelling of ice cream. I never thought like I'd like get sick of ice cream. But that job almost did it to me.
Man, that ruined my visual of you just jacked, scooping out scoops. Is just lines of, women aged, 18 to 40 line out the door. Yeah. I'll have a double scoop, please.
That was not a,
Oh, man. So my first place, and this is something that it's developed over time. And I consider it a dessert because of the time of day that I have it. Most people might consider this a breakfast, but there is a local donut establishment in Santa Cruz called Farrell's Donuts.
Familiar with it?
Yes. Now, there's a handful of different Farrell's throughout Santa Cruz, all of which claim to be original Farrell's, stuff like that. There's 2 in particular that, in my opinion, stand out above the rest. There's one on oh my gosh, there's one on Ocean Street, which is right when you come into Santa Cruz off of the 17, where 17 and 1 hit on the fish hook. And there's the other one that's over on the west side on, what's that road? The main road that goes through West?
Not Swift. Mission.
Yeah. Right off of Mission. I can't believe I forgot that. I haven't been over there in a while. That's also good as well. The best part, and you have to go to the one on Ocean Street. It's open 24 hours.
Okay.
Right around between 7:30 and 8:30, they start their next baking cycle for the following day. So I like to go around 8:30 to 9 is the sweet spot, pun intended. And you go in there, and we call it, me and Marston Sawyers, we coined it. It's called the What's Hot.
What's Hot?
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually they're just bringing in trays of fresh donuts, right? They have some in the cooling rack in the back, the French curlers, the fussy ones that need a little bit of extra time. But, for the other ones, they're just bringing them out warm into the displays. And so for at least weekly, before he up and jumped ship out of Santa Cruz, we go to Farrell's Donuts on Ocean, 9 p.m., 8:45, sometimes 9:30, walk up to the counter to the nice Vietnamese man that always greeted us and looked like he'd just been slanging donuts for like 12 hours straight, and be like, all right, bro, what's hot?
What's hot?
And he would tell us what was hot that day, and at that moment, what was the freshest. And we just get a couple of those and a couple of highlights. If you get a hot cronut, croissant donut, get a hot apple fritter. I'm all about that fritter life. They have the best maple, like the maple frosting.
Okay.
Their maple frosting is phenomenal. And that is consistently what I go back to I grew up. We grew up. There was a donut shop down this way from our house, and that was always a treat when donuts came in for the breakfast. But having them at night, something about like you go out for a nice dinner or whatever, and then you get a hot donut.
I get weird donut cravings at strange times. So yeah, and it's usually at night. So there's definitely something to that.
And it's so funny because at first it felt like, it's like I don't know. It felt kind of naughty at first. You're like, ooh, I'm having a breakfast food for dinner. Like, I'm an adult now. I can do what I want. But yeah,
take that normalcy.
Yeah. So my number one is the What's Hot from Farrell's Donuts on Ocean Street.
Now there are some people. Do we have Krispy Kreme out here?
We do.
Yeah. Because sometimes they'll do something similar. Where they'll have like the sign. The sign goes on, and then it's like it's like the bug zapper where we all just flock to it. And you get the fresh donuts. Okay, I'm gonna do
fun fact. I ate 16 Krispy Kreme glazed donuts at a Giants game one time.
What?
I'm not proud of it. Kind of.
That's one of those weird. I feel like you should be proud of it, but in a very twisted way.
In high school, again, I said I was trying to put on weight. We went to, I think it was a Battle of the Bay series between the A's. I'm an A's fan, and the Giants. And we had really good seats, and they sell at the Giants game it was at Pac Bell. Now it's called something else. Yeah. AT&T Park. But they used to sell 4-packs of Krispy Kreme donuts there. And I got one, ate it. And then I was like, dude, that was so good. I could eat another one. They're like, all right, eat another one. And so I ordered another one.
So this just now became a running dare from your friends, like to see how many you could eat.
After 8, they're like, do you think you could do 12? And I was like, that's a dozen donuts. I was like, yeah, I think it. And then they were paying for the 4. So vis-a-vis, my friends were trying to kill me. And I ended up eating 16. And
that is I'm not even angry.
I was asleep by the seventh inning stretch.
That diabetes by the end of the game. All right. I'll do these at the same time. I'll do Spirit of the Games and Dark Horse at the same time. Yep. So my Spirit of the Games award goes to apple pie a la mode. I mean, just a good, solid American dessert. You can never go, even when it's bad, it's still good. Just a nice warm piece of apple pie, throw some vanilla ice cream on there, maybe sprinkle a little cinnamon. You got yourself a great dessert. I mean, it is like the 5-tool player of desserts. You can have it anytime, anywhere, any place. And and you always leave a smile on your face. What's Spirit of the Games for apple pie a la mode?
What's the biggest eating day during the year?
It's Super Bowl, right? Or 4th of July?
Well, there's a few. I was going to say 4th of July, Super Bowl.
Thanksgiving.
Super Bowl and Thanksgiving. Yeah. All 3 of those, you're used to having apple pie.
Apple pie a la mode. You got it. Yeah. And then my dark horse is frozen yogurt. And it can be from any establishment, any flavor, but sometimes because you go in a lot of the establishments around here, you have variety. You can get like a flavor with a topping and you can mix it all in. It just allows you to be creative and do whatever you want. And it's great in a pinch. It's like, and look, if you get the right combo in there, you could be onto something really special. That's why I call it a dark horse, because you could create something new that could all of a sudden wind up on the podium.
Yeah. I mean, frozen yogurt is like the Enterprise Rent-A-Car of desserts. They give you the tools to be your own boss. That's exactly
right. Yeah, that's right. It's great. And man, I don't want to get off on a weird tangent, but I stick with one flavor. I don't like to. Some people will get like 4 or 5 in there. I never saw the point of that.
I have a system with frozen yogurt. I want a fruity sweet, and then I want what I consider like a savory, which is either like a cheesecake, a peanut butter flavor, a graham cracker. Those are like the savory flavors for me of frozen yogurt. So I do a fruit and a savory, and I always have a little bit of hot fudge, a little bit of they have like the sauces, like a berry type sauce. I usually like black raspberry, and then I pick one candy. So either Reese's, Snickers, but that's the system for me.
My secret is I go to the toppings first.
Ooh.
I like me some granola.
Yeah.
So I get a good scoop of the granola, get it in the bottom there.
Down on the bowels.
Get yourself a nice little base of granola. And then I go to the yogurt. I put the yogurt in, and then I retop it with a granola, because sometimes if you just put the toppings on the top, they're gone by the time you get to the bottom. Now you have a little topping reserve that you can mix in, adds a little crunch.
At that point, are they called bottomings?
Whatever, but you just mix it in. It's great. Okay, so
I like that. That's an expert move. So
everyone can use that next time you go get frozen yogurt. All right, let's get to your Spirit of the Games and your dark horse.
All right, my Spirit of the Games would be Great Grandma Bauer's pumpkin bread. So amongst the many great things about my fiance Tiffany, one thing that I am particularly fond of is the inheritance of some of her family as well. Tiffany has a great grandma Bauer that is still alive to this day. 95
sharp as a tack,
95 years young. And every Christmas, I think it's Christmas, makes like hundreds of loaves of pumpkin bread and a bunch of cookies too. She also has the best ginger snap cookies I've ever had.
Ooh.
And I'm not a huge ginger snap guy. And she turned me into one. But she makes these loaves of pumpkin bread that I don't know if pumpkin bread was just better in the 30s, but apparently she found a way to preserve it, because those things are like the right kind of oil, which we're using to substitute for the M word now.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'll put chocolate chips in them. Sometimes she'll put some walnuts in them. But either way, just those slices of pumpkin bread, just straight up, are like little pieces of heaven.
Oh,
and
man, I love me some pumpkin bread.
And it's a new addition to my life, in the last half decade or so. And it's one of those things where I think she's been making those, like you said, it's like a classic. I think she's been making that pumpkin bread
virtuosity.
Yeah, longer than 90% of this planet has been alive.
Right. It's like what's that Bruce Lee quote? It's like, I don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's grandma.
It's just fantastic. And it's, the dark horse. And this is a new addition for me, because I've only had it a handful of times.
I know.
And it's one of the nice things about when we were working at CrossFit is we had a ton of people there that were just all around good people. And Tamara Meyer is a top quality human being.
Amen.
I hope she's listening, because I know she does listen to our podcast, and she's a friend of the show. Tamara had the office in our bullpen area. She used to work for the games as well. Wonderful human being. And she has this chocolate chip cookie recipe that she would bring in cookies, these chocolate chip cookies. And it was like, if you wanted a preview of how the great toilet paper shortage of 2020 was going to look like, that's what it was look like, scrambling for Tamara's chocolate chip cookies.
Because the funny thing was like you would bring sweets into that office and they would last forever, because everybody's like, I'm counting my macros and I don't want to, give some away. But then for the most part, they would sit there. Not those cookies, man. Those things went like that.
Oh, man. So good. And my brother is, if anything, he's incredibly curious. Whether it's video games and learning, and I think in general learning, and he's really taken an interest in cooking. And when he moved to when we all got laid off, and when he was planning on moving, one of the things he asked from Tamara was to get that chocolate chip cookie recipe, and she gave it to him.
Nice.
And so he's been trying to perfect it and be able to make it to her level, obviously. But those cookies, I was like, oh my goodness, if I were one of Tamara's kids, which I felt like in the office, because she was always taking care of us. But like, I don't know how I would not have the diabetes. But
they were really good.
Tamara,
that's a solid choice.
Yeah, dude, it was. And chocolate chip cookies is one of those things where it's like pizza. Even when it's done bad, it's still good. But when you do it just like that streak of virtuosity,
Have you ever put a chocolate chip cookie in your mouth and been like, oh, that's terrible? Never.
No. Or I've been like, you know what? Nope. I'm not going to finish eating this.
Right. But you're not like, it's not like a traumatic experience.
No, it was, if anything, it was like, that's not how I expected it, but I'm going to finish it.
Exactly. It's going to get the job done. Okay. So those are our podium picks for this week. Favorite cheat meals of the dessert variety. Please let us know what yours are. Because I'm sure there's some that we left out that we're definitely going to be kicking ourselves that we didn't talk about.